Hi, welcome to our daily encounter. In Mark chapter 6, we have an interesting story about a time when Jesus went back to his hometown. And he goes back and he begins to teach in the synagogue. And the people were astonished. They said, where did he get these great teachings and how's he able to perform these great miracles? And they recognize that this is little Jesus that we've seen grow up. This is the son of Mary. This is the carpenter. This is the brother of James and Josie and Judas and Simeon, or Simon, and all of his sisters. And they're thinking, how can he have this mighty power, this mighty teachings, when this is little Jesus? And they actually ended up taking offense at him. And it says that they had no unbelief. In verse 6, he had wondered at their unbelief. Which is very interesting because you have these people who recognize two things about Jesus. They recognize the fact that he spoke with authority, that he had good sound teaching, and they recognize the fact that he was doing notable miracles. And yet, even though they recognized that these two things were happening, they still did not believe. As a matter of fact, they were offended by him. That's just mind-boggling to me to think about how that could be. And yet that's exactly what happened. And this shows the influence that prejudices can have upon the human heart. Prejudice just basically means to prejudge somebody before you have all the information or all the facts. In our nation, in the United States, we typically think of being prejudiced as being projected towards a person of a different race, and it definitely includes that. You see someone of a different race and all of a sudden you prejudge them, you start making assumptions about them, and that's definitely something we should not do. But this could go for a lot of things. In Jesus' case here, it had to do with the fact that he was from that particular hometown and that people had seen him grow up there. And so they prejudged him and said, no, he can't be anything special, he can't be the Messiah or some prophet. Again, this is little Jesus that we saw grow up before us. And so they prejudged him and was unable to accept what he had to offer. It could also be prejudging someone according to their age. Well, they're too young, they don't know what they're talking about. Or maybe we think they're too old and they don't know what they're talking about. Maybe it's according to someone's hair color, someone's job, someone's accent. There's a lot of different ways in which we can prejudge someone, and it can have some very dangerous and long-lasting effects in our life. Think about what happened in this story. Think about what these people missed out on by prejudging Jesus. They missed out on a lot of miracles. It says here that he had only done a few miracles. In verse 5 he says he could do no miracle there except that he laid his hand on a few sick people and healed them. And he wondered at their unbelief. They missed out on a wonderful opportunity for many of their sick loved ones, maybe for themselves, to be healed. And think about all the people who perhaps carried on with chronic illnesses year after year after year because of their prejudices against Jesus. Think about maybe small children that maybe even died because the parents would not take them to Jesus so that they could be healed because of their prejudices. But not only that, think about the teachings that they missed out on. Here they had a grand opportunity, an opportunity that all of us would have loved to have, to be able to stand or sit at the feet of Jesus and listen to him speak personally, to hear him verbally, audibly with our own ears, and to be able to look at him and see his mannerisms as he taught, and got to see his expressions in the way that he taught. This was a wonderful, wonderful thing. This is what the world had been waiting for thousands of years. The Messiah, the Christ, right there in front of them, and they missed it because of their prejudices. And who knows, maybe some of them actually missed out on salvation and entrance into the kingdom because of their prejudices, which is the worst consequence of this. And so what can we learn from this? Well, for one, we can learn that, as we deal with prejudices by other people, And I think all of us, perhaps in some way, in some degree, will have to deal with some types of prejudices that people have against us. Maybe not for race, maybe for many different things, some of the things listed, maybe more. But when we are looked upon in a bad light, not based upon facts, but just upon what people prejudge about us, we can take comfort in the fact that Jesus himself dealt with that. That Jesus himself knew what it felt like to be prejudged. And when we go to him in prayer and we pray to him about it, we're praying to someone who has experienced it firsthand. But secondly, we can also take away from this the idea that we should not be the type of people who prejudge others, who are prejudiced towards others. Because we too might miss out on a lot of wonderful, great blessings if we do have prejudices towards others. We might miss out on a lifelong friendship, a long-lasting friendship with somebody else, but we miss it because we prejudge them based upon something about them. Or we might miss out on being able to hear someone give great teachings because we prejudge them because of their race or because of their sex or because of some other thing that they have. And we miss out on what they can offer us because we have prejudged them. We can miss out on a lot of things by prejudging people, and we don't want to do that. For one, it's not a very loving thing to do. Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, we wouldn't want people to prejudge us, and we shouldn't prejudge other people as well. And again, we can miss out on a lot. So the best thing to do is, instead of prejudging people, is to get to know people. That's a novel idea, right? Actually, sit down and talk to a person, get to know them, know their background, get to know a little bit about them, ask them some questions about themselves, get to know them. Find out the truth about them. Don't just go based upon what you see or what you've heard or anything like that. Just listen to them. And you might make a connection that you never would have made before. And so these are just some things to think about today, and maybe some things even we could put into practice today. I do thank you guys for listening in today. I hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.